Welcome! Today we're going to talk about using the diagnosis modules in DDS-GP. As always, we recommend using two devices while learning DDS-GP. Use one to watch these videos or read the instructions, and the other, your iPad with DDS-GP installed, to follow along and try things out in real time. Ready? Let's get started! When you tap the diagnosis button, whether from the sidebar or the icon menu, you'll see a folder open with several black and white icons. These represent different subcategories of dental problems, such as decay, periodontal disease, cracks, and more. Tap on any folder to open it and view the demonstration modules inside. You'll see these modules represented by colorful preview images. Each one tells a visual story, from health to disease, so your patient can understand what's happening now and what could happen if the condition is left untreated. Once you select a module, it will begin with a clear image of a healthy tooth or area. From there, you can use the slider at the bottom of the screen. Just drag the white circle along the line to move through the stages of progression. Think of it like scrubbing through a movie. You can also tap the small arrows at the bottom corners to go forward or back one step at a time. When you're explaining the condition to your patient, we recommend a calm and honest approach, one that builds understanding and trust. Here's an example of how you might walk someone through a cracked tooth. This first image shows a healthy tooth. As we move through the sequence, you can see how a crack can start small and gradually grow deeper over time. Right here, this stage is where we are now. The crack hasn't split the tooth in half, and the nerve hasn't been affected yet, which is great. But as the crack gets closer to the nerve, the treatment becomes more involved. If it travels all the way down into the space between the roots, what we call the furcation, then unfortunately, even with all the technology and skills we have, we can't save that tooth. That's when people end up needing an extraction. But the good news is, we're not there. We can fix this now and prevent it from getting to that point. Let me show you how we do that. This is also a great opportunity to use the markup tools to circle or underline parts of the image with your finger. This is covered elsewhere in the instructions, but it's an easy and effective way to keep your patient focused on what matters. Here's another example. Let's say the patient is missing a tooth or is about to lose one. In this case, you can use the Missing Teeth and Sequela module, which visually explains what can happen in the surrounding area over time if the space is left untreated. Here's how you might narrate it. This first image shows what things look like right after a tooth has been lost. At this stage, nothing has really shifted yet, but that doesn't last long. As we move forward through the images, you'll see the neighboring teeth start to tip inward and the opposing tooth starts to move into the gap. Once that happens, it's no longer just about a missing tooth. We're now dealing with bite changes and misalignment. And correcting that may require full braces or other major treatment, just to reestablish the space before we can even think about replacing the tooth. That's why we like to step in early, before everything moves. The good news is, we're right here, at this stage, where we still have some really straightforward options. Would it be okay if I showed you a couple of ways we can fix this before it turns into a bigger issue? This not only helps your patient visualize the progression, but also invites collaboration. You're not just telling them what to do, you're bringing them into the process, showing both the concern and the opportunity for prevention. As with the cracked tooth example, this is a great place to use the markup tool to highlight changes in tooth position or collapse of space. That visual reinforcement goes a long way, especially when people don't realize how quickly these changes can occur. All diagnosis modules follow this same structure, from healthy to unhealthy, and help you show the why before you talk about the what. We strongly recommend starting here before jumping to treatment. Instead of just saying, you need a crown, you're showing the patient why the crown is needed. And when people understand the problem clearly and why it's so important to address it before it worsens, they're far more likely to accept the proposed solution. Too often, we skip the explanation and go straight to the fix. But defining the problem first, not just the treatment, shows respect for your patient's intelligence and puts them in a better place to say yes to care. As always, we encourage you to incorporate DDS-GP into all of your treatment plans, no matter how big or small. If you have any questions or comments, please visit our website at www.ddsgp.com.